Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. One trend that has emerged in the COVID era is the significance of wireless connectivity for every home. Be it work from home situations, expanding from a simple dial-in to video, or children zooming in for their classes. Every member of the family has been forced to go online. The major challenges that stem from this situation is actually ensuring ubiquitous quality connectivity. And by quality, I mean high throughput, implying high speeds, low latency, implying no lags, and high capacity, implying larger bandwidths, spectrum to support this large device count and this wide variety of applications. Hello everyone, I am Shrita Nair, a staff product manager in the Wireless Infrastructure and Networking Division at Qualcomm, where our team is focused on technologies for the wired and wireless connectivity for the home, enterprise, and service provider. The user scenario I described above is one that our team is working on solving through our cutting-edge wireless solutions. And today, I'm here to speak to you about an exciting new inflection point in home networking. And this is about the transition to a fully wireless internet, where your home internet can be delivered to you over the same infrastructure that serves your mobile devices. Through my talk today, we will cover the underlying drivers for this transition, both technology and economic, and we will see how wireless broadband will have a significant impact on users, carriers, and municipalities. But before we jump into the details, here's a quick primer on some of the keywords that I will use and what they mean. Broadband refers to any type of high-speed communications media which can be wired or wireless. Wireless broadband is high-speed internet and data service delivered through a wireless medium such as Wi-Fi or cellular technology. Fixed wireless access or FWA uses radio waves transmitted by a cell tower to bring you your internet connection. This is different from the cable, DSL, and fiber, all of which use cables or wires. Clearly, we are moving to a wireless world and we want to get away from that, don't we? One keyword that you will hear throughout the talk is, of course, 5G. To a wireless communications engineer like me, it is a unified connectivity fabric that connects everything and everyone to each other. Why is that important and how is it different from the 3G and 4G that we have today? The way we've used our wireless over the last 30 years is primarily to talk to each other and more recently for data transfer over phones. Now today, most of the communication happens to be data communication. Communication such as you're watching a video, or you're downloading something, or texting each other, or you're in a video conference call. This was one of the reasons why the whole notion of 5G actually began. But it's not just people communicating with each other now, is it? What if things communicate with each other and with humans around them? For that, you'd need a totally different network. And that is 5G, the future. Not only does it support enhanced mobile broadband services and provide virtually unlimited capacity, but it also scales to connect the massive Internet of Things and enables new, ultra-reliable, low-latency communication for mission-critical services. In 5G technology, there are two kinds of frequency bands that you will hear. First is sub-6 GHz bands, where the frequency transmitted from cell phone towers is less than 6 GHz. This is very similar to 4G, where the frequencies transmitted from cell phone towers are below 6 GHz too. On the other hand, the higher speeds that really set 5G apart from any of the 4G LTE flavors actually require millimeter wave, that is about 24 GHz high frequency bands. these high frequencies have very large bandwidths. So they're ideal for keeping everyone connected with capacity, and especially in busy environments. Think of something like stadiums. Another technology that we will refer to is Wi-Fi 6. Wi-Fi 6 is the latest generation of Wi-Fi technology, something similar to how 5G is the next generation of cellular technology. And it fundamentally changes the way Wi-Fi operates to significantly increase network capacity. It makes better use of that capacity to maintain excellent user experiences for Wi-Fi users, brings greater efficiency and more consistent performance to previously unmanaged systems. It standardizes techniques to improve individual user throughput, coverage, and device battery life. So, you and I as users will see a 4x bump in overall capacity, efficiency for latency-sensitive applications, and of course, significant increase in throughput at range. Now that we have reviewed the fundamental building blocks, we are ready to delve right in. So for the past decade, the most significant innovations in consumer technology have been in mobile devices. Since the first Android and iPhone about 13 to 14 years ago, we've been on a rapid pace of innovation, where customers now have ubiquitous connectivity, distributed intelligence, multimedia anywhere. And this has driven a revolution in the design of mobile handsets, but simultaneously has driven investments in mobile infrastructure that can support the needs of these devices. The size and scale of this network investment cannot be understated. That is, in terms of total capacity to distribute data and the number of users it can serve across a population that numbers in the billions. And as we move into the 5G era, we have a platform for future innovations that can support next generation services not even imagined today. Preparing this network for 5G will be a central driver of infrastructure investment, with overall mobile network capex expected to increase 200 billion annually by 2023. This means there is a massive investment in wireless infrastructure that can be brought to deploy new services for consumers. And that brings us to the home internet. Over the past 20 years, our home network experience in pretty much most of the world has evolved gradually. Cable, DSL, passive optical networks. We are accustomed to the truck roll, the modem, and the sorting out of the tangle of wires. In some nations, we've seen a rapid rollout of high-speed data with gigabit speeds delivered over fiber to the home. And of course, over the past 20 years, we have known it was only a matter of time before our wireless world would converge and we'd have the opportunity to connect our homes to the internet completely wirelessly, where adding the home internet access would be as simple as plugging in a lamp. And of course, this is not a new idea. As an industry, we've been working on fixed wireless for almost 20 years. 802.16 WiMAX was introduced in 2001. And then there was WiGig 802.11ad, which was introduced in 2009. Around the same time, 4G LTE cellular enabled the first wave of all wireless hotspots and home access devices, home services, offered at speeds which were fast compared to DSL. Over the same period, traditional Wi-Fi has seen application for home internet access with specialized hardware to beam in the 5 GHz spectrum, which with Wi-Fi 5. And this has been particularly good for rural regions. All of these were either spectrum limited or they brought new technology that was incompatible with broadly deployed infrastructure. In order for this to happen or get really widely popular, we needed to address both these questions or both these concerns of available spectrum and supporting a network infrastructure. Here we see that 5G cellular addresses exactly those shortcomings that we saw in the previous generations. First of all, it offers plenty of spectrum with room to grow. It will also natively support all spectrum types, licensed, shared, unlicensed, and all bands, low, mid, and high. So the infrastructure provider has the option to deploy in sub 6 GHz for longer range and moderate bandwidth, or to build millimeter wave with shorter range in the last hop but order of magnitude higher bandwidth. Secondly, 5G offers a wide range of deployment models. So that way you could bring the signal to the user that can vary in each deployment. So lots of flexibility. For example, you could have a cellular handset, a mobile hotspot, or FWA, fixed wireless access endpoints. And the head end can be a traditional base station, a small cell infrastructure, or a relay base station connected in a mesh with different options for connecting into the wide area network, including relay wired backhaul, wireless backhaul, and ad hoc mesh. To deliver on the vision of the fully wireless home networking, the 5G home gateway should deliver a set of capabilities. Beginning with the 5G modem, the gateway should offer robust Wi-Fi connectivity to enable all the devices in the home to access the network. It should offer integrated voice support for those users who continue to use traditional POTS lines in the home, which can service with VoIP over 5G. The platform should offer strong security for the devices on the network, including VPN capability and integrated router firewall support. And finally, this must be integrated in a high-density silicon architecture to enable small form factor with low power consumption. Here's a quick video to show you how the solution looks like.
Qualcomm Technologies is helping to bring fast, reliable, and secure connectivity into the home with 5G fixed wireless access and Wi-Fi 6. Let's take a look at how this will work. It begins with a fixed wireless access device powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon X55 5G modem RF system that uses 5G millimeter wave and sub 6 GHz 5G to enable unprecedented capacity and coverage. This device is connected to a Wi-Fi mesh system built on one of Qualcomm Technologies' Wi-Fi 6 platforms. Our Wi-Fi 6 networking platforms are built for multi-user environments, making them ideal for those who are working from home, with speeds up to 10 gigabits per second and multiple streams of Wi-Fi 6 connectivity to support the many devices in the modern connected home, small business, or enterprise. This combination of 5G and Wi-Fi 6 is a powerful solution for the future of home networking, with seamless support for gaming, productivity, and entertainment.
How cool was that, huh? So fixed wireless service allows operators to offer gigabit speeds, both downlink and uplink, because it's a symmetric modem and offers a symmetric link to customers who are in residential single-family homes and apartment complexes, and even enterprises. And it's not really easy to go out there and lay down fiber or any other cable to these establishments. So FWA is actually a great way of getting there. Now, one thing you need to keep in mind is that these FWA services, it's not just about downlink speeds, but there is also considerable focus on uplink speeds, as uplink application requirements for video conferencing and other applications is extremely critical. And if you thought this was only for cities, here's something interesting. This is a trial our team did in a small town of rural Wisconsin about 2 years ago. The location has about 3 cell sites in that whole town, about 10,000 people. There's very limited coverage. So this is exactly what they have there. There's 3 sites, and you can see that with the green concentration, that's what they have with 4G. If you take a look at the average speeds over there, the total capacity is about 50 megabits per second on an average with 4G, and maybe a little more. But the thing that you'll have to see is this is the sum total capacity. So if you have about 10 users, everything else remaining the same, your throughput or your capacity kind of gets divided by 10. And on the downlink, you're going to get even lower, which is, say about, you'll be lucky to get about 5 megabits per second or so. And that's super low. So we did an experiment. We took the same 3 cell sites and added 5G millimeter wave to that. And the red is what it looks like. The color has changed quite a bit. So the sprinkling of red, that's gigabit per second speed. You see the color, it represents about 85% of the buildings getting more than 100 megabits per second. And there's about 40% of the buildings that get more than 300 megabits per second. So you can see what a difference this technology can bring and how promising it is for connecting the unconnected. Some of the key innovations in 5G technology center on its flexibility for supporting different architectures for the access infrastructure. A carrier can opt for a wide range, low density network or really high density deployment where there are a large number of subscribers. One example shown here is a single base station that can cover a radius of 1.7 kilometer at 50 Mbps rates. That's like 9 square kilometers or about 3.5 square miles. That's an extreme case, but that's just to show what can be done and how flexible the densification can be. Now coming to a few interesting use cases of this technology. Carriers can leverage their investment in 5G cellular or mobile infrastructure to provide internet access to home users and enable new revenue streams. Cities and local governments can encourage increased investment in high-speed data infrastructure with large serviceable market that could be covered with cellular or broadband alone. Property owners can enable high-speed internet without the cost of enabling and disabling fixed line access for new tenants, and of course, without the cost of running dedicated wiring to individual properties. And finally, consumers have the benefit of competitive broadband offerings from their local cellular carriers, potentially driving new differentiation in services and pricing. And this is critical as affordability will be a key driver that governments and players will seek to connect the unconnected. In summary, broadband was and will continue to be a basic human need, not just for learning, entertainment, but just about working, for health and every application as we go about our daily life now. In today's world, connectivity is not about just about moving data from one device to another. It's more about delivering compelling user experiences and making sure that you get access to whatever you need, whenever you need, whether it's at home, office, or while strolling outside on the street. And with 5G and Wi-Fi coming together to provide fixed wireless access, we have got you covered.